Do you think that the congressional Republicans will stick with you on your emergency declaration and vote against?
Oh, I think they'll stick. Yeah, everybody knows we need border security. We need a wall. I think it's a very bad subject for the Democrats.
Will you definitively veto that resolution that was introduced today that would block your national emergency if it passes?
On the wall?
Yes.
Will I veto it? 100%. 100%. And I don't think it survives a veto. We have too many smart people that want border security.
Fair to point out it would be his first veto in office. The president will be in Vietnam to meet with the leader of North Korea when the House back home votes on that resolution, potentially to block his national emergency, which will continue theoretically with him overseas. Democrats say they have enough votes to pass it. The bill's fate in the Senate, however, is uncertain. We're watching 4 particular Republicans who've publicly voiced concern about using that kind of executive power to build something like a wall or steel slats. The political maneuvering will be happening as the president's former longtime personal attorney talks to Congress. And the public will finally know at least some of what Michael Cohen knows. The president had this to say about Cohen's upcoming testimony today.
Do you have any concerns about Michael Cohen's testimony before
No,
Congress this
no.
week?
Mr. President, are you still considering
Lawyer-client, but, he's taking his own chances.
Interesting. Here to talk about it, Philip Elliott, politics correspondent for Time Magazine, and Tal Kopan, Washington correspondent for the San Francisco Chronicle. Tal, I'd like to begin with you. Yes, a lot can happen in these next few days. And yes, there are some limits, some of them self-imposed, on what these members of the committee are going to ask Michael Cohen. But is there any chance this will be somehow less than the momentous event we're kind of all expecting?
Well, there's always a chance. But no, I mean, the build up to this event certainly has been quite suspenseful. But let's remember, this is not, someone who's coming before the committee with, things hanging over their head like a potential sentencing or ongoing court drama. I mean, Michael Cohen has really laid things out there for the court already and presumably is going to be coming to testify to answer any questions that remain about what he said in court, which already has implicated the president. So the potential for fireworks with this testimony, I'd say, is quite high.
And Philip, let's get down to brass tacks. We have a television president in a television age. I think the time difference in Vietnam, I think day is night and night is day. I think it's 12 hours. So let's just say that after something like a state dinner, 10 p.m. local time in Saigon, the president is preparing to retire for the evening. 10 a.m. in Washington. Oh, look what's on TV. Your former personal lawyer and the keeper of the secrets. How's that going to work?
Goodness, I am anticipating a couple all-nighters for the president. There's no way he's going to miss the opportunity to watch this play out on live TV. Also, keep in mind the House panel in particular is stacked with lawmakers who are particularly of interest to the president. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is on here. Congresswoman Tlaib is on there. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Carolyn Maloney. These are people who have an ability to get under the president's skin. And keep in mind, the last time Michael Cohen came to the Hill, he lied to Congress. He has admitted this as part of his plea deal. So they're not going to be ready to come with kid gloves on him either.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.